Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready to rock? You are off stage with DWP, and I want to cut right to it. We have a band that we've kind of put our arms around from day one, and we have the frontman Jason from Fever 333 joining us today on Off Stage. Jason, I want to start by saying thank you for joining us. Emotions and feelings are very raw and real out there. This is your forum. You are family to us. We are going to do an introduction to your performance that you did with the band called Long Live the Innocent. And we'll get to that, obviously, the full performance, no cut, no edit, in full. I just want to start by addressing, personally, for me, this feels a little different. And I'm speaking optimistically. It feels different than Ferguson. It feels different than 1992. Because I think more than just the Black community has had enough, me included. So I'd love you to kind of address the rock community out there and how you're feeling right now. And then we want to get into the show soon.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, thank you, Gary. Thank you, Gary, and everybody else involved in DWP, whether that be on the platform that is the people making the shows happen or people supporting patrons. Everybody, just thank you for giving us this space and me this time right now. I think you're right. I think you're exactly right. And I was saying it to my wife the other day. If I'm being completely honest, I was like, I thought I would be happier when everybody came together and started to realize what was happening to people like myself and Steven, my guitar player in my band and my family and friends. I thought I'd be happier when everybody started to talk about it and non-Black people, mostly white people, were actually coming to the front and saying like, this is wrong and that this needs to change. And being honest, like I just feel like for the first time in my life, I'm kind of being heard. And that is very complex in and of itself because it means that you haven't been heard for so long. And I think a huge responsibility for us in the rock community is to really, really own up to what we claim to be. We're the self-proclaimed progressive field in music. We're the self-proclaimed subversives. We're the self-proclaimed, rebels. And for so long, we've been allowing ourselves to remain in this homogenized, sterile, and complacent place. And I said it earlier before we started recording this, I was saying that I think that rock music has offered as a microcosmic sort of petri dish for what is happening outside of music in the world in a predominantly white space. And I mean, when I say white, I want to give a disclaimer, like, I mean the idea of whiteness, very much like the idea of Blackness. It is just a construct. It's just something that was created the mid 19th century, where people started to discuss this thing in order to utilize it so that they could categorize people into places to utilize them for power. I mean, that's really that's quite literally the beginnings of race. So when I discuss whiteness, it's an idea, it's a power dynamic. It's not the melanin content in people's skin. And I think that being in this space, rock music predominantly being a white space, is that I think that it really offers us an opportunity to have these uncomfortable conversations and really offers us an opportunity to change things within ourselves and our community of rock first, and then take what we learn and bring that outside. So I really do hope that people, whether you agree with me or not, I'm really not here for that. I'm not here for people to sit here and nod their heads and say, yes, I'm here to have a conversation. So I hope that they want to do that.
You've been really consistent on that from the first day DWP grabbed hold of you, which, by the way, we saw rough footage of a pop-up show you guys did at Randy's Donuts in Inglewood, California. And the rest is history for us. There was a Roxy show, and then we booked you immediately. You put yourself into places such as Epicenter in Charlotte, North Carolina, Louisville, Kentucky with Louder Than Life, Sonic Temple in Columbus, Ohio. This isn't New York or Los Angeles. Let's be honest. These are, and you've kind of kept an open forum. You said, this is how I feel. I'm not going to judge. And you go on stage and I just think your honesty comes through. and this leads to my question. Long Live the Innocent, your performance, your introduction to One of Us. You said, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Are you still optimistic? Or are you drained of your positivity from this? Or what did you mean by when you introduced One of Us by saying I'm tired, I'm exhausted?
I think that I personally, so the way that people have seen me, especially at these festivals, is quite ostensibly optimistic, right? And I think that who I am relative to those who know my project, the band, and me personally, I think generally speaking, people find me to be a very positive person and someone who believes in more. And I look beyond just the current moment, which I do feel at times can be, whether it be a fractious moment or a fractured moment, I still believe that there's something ahead and that it can be positive. And I think by me saying that, for those that, again, are aware of who I am and what the project is on any level, I believe that by me saying that, I was able to exhibit a type of vulnerability that I haven't been able to do as a Black person in America, showing that I do have this spectrum of emotion and not being falsely representative of my feelings all the time. I think showing people that I was tired, and you could hear it. I mean, honestly, man, I've been like, and I don't care to be commended for this at all. I'm just like, quite literally, I was walking for miles for a week straight, and I was yelling for hours for a week straight, and I was having conversations every single day for a week straight. It got to the point where I was hiding in this room, which is a disconnected piece of my house, hiding in this room to finally cry to myself so that my son didn't see me, because I didn't know how to explain to him what I was feeling without having him feel as though I was falling apart. So I had to take a moment to really show people that while I am optimistic and while I do still believe, because I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't optimistic. I would quit doing music the way I do it. I would stop talking about the thing, because everything I talk about is about change and making sure that there is progress. So I would stop. So I am optimistic and I am positive about an ability to change things. But I do want people to understand this being something that is latticed and that braids itself when you do it. And you can be sad and you can be frustrated and you can be upset and you can be fucking tired and still believe that it can be okay. But you have to allow yourself to feel the initial feeling in order to, to create a space inside of you that is honest with yourself, so that it doesn't come back up later and destroy you. So I introduced that whole thing because that way, so that people could see that it's okay to be frustrated and still believe that there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
So many bands may be in the studio now kind of making their protest song, or a hip hop artist is. But I got to tell you, whether it's One of Us or Burn It or Made in America, you've been doing this. This isn't anything new to you or Fever 333. This is like, you are the right band at the right moment. And, you have a new song that you dropped called Supremacy. And if I can quote a quick lyric, born into the world when we're dying to be free, but we're living underneath the supremacy. That's such a running theme in your lyrics. And everybody listening and watching, if you haven't discovered Fever 333, number one, shame on you. Number two, see them live. And at our shows, and you guys from the side stage to the main stage, you're one of those guys who it's 110% from not the moment you're on stage, from the moment you start walking to the stage. And as a matter of fact, you have a hard time actually staying on stage.
Yeah.
We have one of our famous photos that we're going to cut to of you in a, God, what is it? If you remember at Sonic Temple, you put yourself into a cabinet.
Oh yeah, on the
right?
What was that? Yeah, a road case for like drums. Yeah.
And that's just, you're so in the moment, and we really wish more rock and roll bands would be in the moment. And again, going back to being in the moment, this isn't anything new to you. You've been writing these lyrics like Made in America could have been written yesterday. One of Us could have been written today. Burn It could be written tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can speak to that.
Yeah. I really thank you. That's actually a great question because the answer is actually, I can believe, can be quite eye-opening. So I've been talking to a lot of people about this recently, and someone said to me that it's seemingly prophetic, right? Like as if I was able to obtain some sort of divination for a moment in the writing process, and I was able to predict what was going to happen. But I've been telling everybody that, you know, this didn't happen by way of magic, and this is no sort of mysticism. Like this is, I think the saddest part about this is that I said something so exacting and so particular and so like so specific when I wrote these songs, and I was talking about something that already happened. You know, I think that's the hardest part about this, and that's what makes me so tired and frustrated.
Right.
Is that this already has happened. And I think if anyone is going to listen to this music moving forward, it's almost impossible. And I feel like it truly is. It has to be impossible for you to listen to this music, then apply it, have it run concurrently with what's happening today, and then deny Black, brown people, immigrant people, people that are, again, not within the strata of the hierarchical caste of white, and deny them of their anger and frustration. You just can't do that. And if you do that, this is here's one huge challenging point I will offer in this interview. If you do that, if you actually believe that what has been said in these songs in Fever 333, apply to right now, and then go, that's crazy, but don't look back at where I got it from, because you must understand that I didn't predict this. I wrote about something that happened. If you put that together and you still believe that people are not justified, and you believe that people aren't due reparations, and then you believe that people aren't due a sense of equity culturally, societally, well, then you are falling victim to an idea of racism. That's what that is. And that is what supremacy is about. And that's what all of what I write about. And this challenge to people, I do challenge people to look at what they feel and why they feel it. If people are offended because they feel as though they deserve to be spoken to a different way, if they're offended because they feel as though saying Black Lives Matter is a zero-sum game, and that if I matter, that you matter less, that is part of your privilege. And your privilege has roots in racism, because people that are not Black, and people that are not brown and immigrant and aren't other, these people have been set up in society throughout the world to lose. If it were to be a zero-sum game, we've never been winning. We've never been winning. You can look at all the numbers. You can look at all the cases. Like, we've never been, and this isn't bias, just because I am a person of color, just because I play in rock music and I say these things in my band. This isn't about me trying to make a point for myself. This is about me making points that are on paper, in policy, within the Constitution, within the amendments. You know, this is all there for you to learn. All I'm here to do is to offer you an opportunity to learn it. And I'm not taking away from anyone else's plight. I'm not taking away from anyone else's struggle, anything that they deal with personally. It's not about that. It's about a systemic idea that has generationally made sure that Black people suffer. That's just what it is.
We're here with Jason. You are off stage with DWP. Jason, of course, lead singer and frontman for Fever 333. Thank you for joining us and speaking your mind. It means the world to us, and it means the world that we're supporting a band like Fever 333 and watching your rise. I get the feeling, to switch gears for a sec, there's certain bands, right, that if this guitar player could be in another band, or that drummer in that band, he could probably be in another band. There is nobody else who could be in Fever 333. If one of you guys split, like, to me, it's John Bonham and Zeppelin. Band's over.
Yeah.
You guys, all the pieces fit, and everybody does it. Have you ever thought of, this is a silly question almost, you ever thought about adding a low end, adding a bass player?
Yep.
And that's not like an easy audition.
Yeah.
They gotta fit what you guys do and are about, and they gotta know how to jump, and they gotta know how to be aggressive, and they gotta have a heart and a soul.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm curious if that's going to be an addition to the band.
It will. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and say it here. This will be like the first public announcement of it. Yeah, I've already got one. He's amazing. He's an incredible musician, an incredible person. His empathy and compassion and his tolerance is incredible. Everything about him is perfect. He does provide us like a space where he really is like more so of the more let's say consistent piece of the, we're not going to have him like climbing shit and jumping, but he will be providing us with a very, very, what I believe to be now with the evolution of the band, a very necessary piece of like the low end, the keys, the natural, background vocals. He's just an incredible multi-instrumentalist that we actually met through our front of house, who's friends with him, and his name's Matt Fozzie. He's incredible. He does his own thing too, and he's just incredible. So yeah, we're gonna be doing. We actually had planned it for. He was gonna be with us this summer. That was like he was gonna be his introduction to, but the band itself will remain like it's us. It's like this is an idea that I came up with years ago, and it was like this sort of vision that I had, and I called Steven and Eric because they were the only people that I felt like I could travel with to do this, and that I could represent this on like a physical level. I felt like they were the ones to do it with. So that is the band. It's just us three, like that. When you see the band live, the band, or when you see like Press Foot, whatever, that's us three. And Matt is just an incredible sort of addition to that thing that we've been doing for the past almost 3 years now. Yeah.
I can't wait. That's cool news.
Yeah.
We are going to be showing everybody who's watching in full Long Live the Innocent, Fever 333's latest live show. By the way, it's benefiting a couple things, Black Lives Matter and also the Minnesota Freedom Fund. So donations will be benefiting those two important organizations. There's one more I kind of want to talk about seriously, my favorite kind of lyric that I've heard in a handful of years, and it's from Burn It. And, I think lyricists, songwriters have a hard time explaining to their fans who they are, but you don't. So I'll read it out loud. I got a mouth like Malcolm and hands like Ali, Black Panther, white mother. You best not try me. I got a mind like Martin, visions of Rodney King. You got to burn it down to build it back up again.
Yeah.
That's you. I mean, if you need to explain, if I've asked a couple of rock stars, if an alien came down from the planet and you had 4 minutes to explain to them what Fever 333 is, what song would you play them? I have to think it would be Burn It.
Yeah. Shoot. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
One song.
Yeah, I feel like that is really descriptive, right? Like the whole thing about it, right? And also I think it paints a picture and it sort of personifies who is speaking these words, right? Like you're right. That is quite literally my explanation of who I am and why I say what I say and what this whole mission statement is. So I guess it would have to be, that song like that. When you put it like that, I would show the aliens that. And when they do come, because I believe that they out there. I believe I'll show them that.
That'll be for a different show. All right.
Yeah.
That you'll show Burn It. Look, is there anything you want to say that you haven't said, to the fans, to everybody watching off stage with DWP before we burn it, literally, and watch the performance? Because feelings are raw, and you're such an important voice, not only for DWP events, but I think for rock and roll and for pop culture, Jason.
Thank you. Yeah, that's very humbling coming from you too, because I just have such a respect for what you do and how you do it, and your willingness to have the tougher conversations. And also, okay, here's what I'm going to say. I was going to say something else, but let me just talk about it like this, because again, this is like reactionary to what Gary's just said. There are so many people benefiting off of Black culture. And this thing that we are discussing right now, and again, particularly in rock music, that was in fact created and born from Black struggle.
Of course.
And so when we talk about how much we care and how much Black music or Black culture or rock music, how much these things deserve, but we don't show up, I think that that's really telling. And I think that it shows now that when someone like yourself and your team take a risk, because when we have these conversations, they can be rather divisive. People feel some type of way because, again, no matter how hard I try to make it an open forum or conversation, people will get touched and want to change the channel or turn this off or whatever. But if you've watched this far, I say thank you. And I commend you in sitting through something that may have been uncomfortable, just as much as I commend somebody for sitting through this and feeling empowered. I want to say thank you, Gary, and the whole DWP team for doing something I think so many other companies, brands, businesses, and bands should be doing. And that is making sure that you push outside. This is my son, actually, everybody.
Love this. Can you say hi to us?
Come here, baby. Come here. That's amazing. Oh my God. Look at these people.
Oh, she's gorgeous. Say hello to the world. Say hello to Offstage.
Hi. Say hi. Hi.
Hi, honey.
So this is Gary and everybody in the world of rock music. What you got? Some toys? Yeah. That's awesome, baby. That's Gary. I'm gonna be right there though.
Is that Legos?
Is that Legos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I'll come over. I'll social distance. I'll be there.
But yeah, I think that's it, man. I think that what y'all are doing right now is exemplary. We all have to take a risk. That's what it's gonna take. If you got to risk less people thinking that they're gonna fuck with DWP because they had a black guy talking about black issues, that's the risk we have to take if we want to offer equity. If you are a manager, if you are an agent, if you are in the industry, if your job is at McDonald's, you know what I'm saying, and you are gonna take a stand and you might risk, your own benefits that you receive from the thing that you do every day. That's a risk that's how far gone we are down the road of systemic racism and institutional injustice. So to bands, lastly, to bands, any bands out there that want to fly the flag or the banner of rock music, which was born from subversion and rebellion and this idea of progressiveness, if you're not showing up in these issues, or if you're not taking a stand, and if you're not showing what it is you actually believe in, then I feel as though you really don't have much of a space, as much a space as you deserve in the thing that you've benefited from, which is rock music. I really believe that. So I think that it takes all of us to take a risk, not just me, not just Gary. People in higher places need to take risks that aren't going to necessarily benefit them directly, at least in the beginning. So
that's the rock and roll ethic. That's the rock and roll spirit.
That's it.
It's supposed to be the other side of the tracks. It's supposed to be it's rebel rock. It's rebellious music. I agree. And we need more of that. So thank you. And last thing I'll say, I get the feeling you're a guy, and this is why you separate yourself from the pack, Jason. You're a guy that will probably say, look, November 3rd, go vote. Yeah. Whoever you vote for, that's your right.
Yes.
But partake.
Absolutely.
Silence is violence.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Any moment that you get, and that's the thing, right? There are lanes and there are levels to this. I myself have been in the streets. I've been out there at night. I've been on the stage, whatever. That's my lane. I'm not saying that everybody should join me in the streets. That's not everybody's lane. I'm not saying that everybody should start a band. I'm not saying that everybody should, but what I can say is this: if you have the audacity to lament or complain publicly about something that you don't like, that you could change by simply ticking a box and taking 30 minutes out of your day, then I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I think that you can invest in your own interests while understanding what they mean to other people, and we can come to a place where perhaps we understand that offering a sense of equity to other people would actually benefit all of us in a systemic way. And what it would actually do is it would help combat the class war that we're fighting as a people. Almost everyone watching this is nowhere near the top, because the top is so far between, and there's a gap so far between us and the top that we're actually fighting such a similar war together, and we don't even know it, and they keep it this way so that we stay below the gap. What we need to do is take what is in that gap, which is money and power and opportunity, and we need to reallocate and redistribute that money, that power, because that is for us. That is what we create, and it's bottom up. We're giving all the money and power upwards. So what we can do is you can obviously protest, you can obviously start bands, you can obviously have conversations, but you can also quietly go out and vote. You can do that. I'm not, and honestly, that's so funny, Gary. Literally, the campaign that I had before everything went crazy with COVID was just empowering people to have discussions openly, fairly, civilly, and voting. I mean, just voting, however you vote, as long as you make sure that you are interested in something that benefits you, that isn't destroying someone else, because again, this can seem like a zero-sum game, then we support it. That's what it is.
Right on. So #vote, #Black Lives Matter, #Minnesota Freedom Fund. Jason, do you want to introduce Long Live the Innocent to everybody?
Yeah, man. Yeah. We're Fever 333. We're a band that talks about everything you're about to hear and everything you're about to see. And if that speaks to you, then this is a space for you. And if it doesn't speak to you, maybe you should listen. So say their names. This is Long Live the Innocent.
Greetings, friends and allies. This is Jason Aalon from Fever 333. I wanted to quickly explain to you what we'll be doing with this live stream. As many of you know, and as many of you experienced, we've been going through quite a rough time of uncertainty and anxiety and fear due to a pandemic that has gripped the world, known as COVID-19. These are unprecedented times, and we want to get through them just as much as you do. But we must not forget that there are precedented times that we face and have been facing and have been perpetuated for generations. And one of these things has been the violence against Black bodies, brown bodies, immigrant bodies in America and throughout the world. This is a power dynamic, and it's been leveraged against people for generations, as I stated earlier. This is something we must address. This is something we must fight against, and this is the platform that we utilize to do so. We'd like you to engage. We'd like to give you tools, advice, and a sense of empowerment that you can utilize in order to excel in your own fight against these things, create your own space, create your own sense of safety, and again, your own sense of power. This is what we discuss. This is what we always discuss, and we'll be doing so in this live stream. We hope that you join us. We hope that you bring an open mind and open heart, and of course, bring your power. Thank you so much for being there in advance.
Old City Block here has been a hotspot all day. East Lake Street.
White America needs to ask themselves, why is this acceptable?
Let me be clear. The arresting officer killed someone.
Civil rights activists say the unrest is years of pent-up frustration.
You wouldn't be able to find a single person that knew him, that didn't love him, and wouldn't tell you about his gentle spirit, his loving.
You know? And he was that. He would pick anybody up. He used the power of God to really lift people up in this world. And I miss
This is
that.
years of pent-up frustration with city leaders and police.
They have not moved quickly enough to root out the systemic racism within the department.
Going around just busting guns in crowds, kids getting killed. One day it's gonna be you going up or you're going down. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be it. My heart hurts.
Shut up. They gonna kill me. They gonna kill me, man. Yeah.
So we had a white boy, we'd make him sing too, you know. And
Listen to our story. Listen to our stories. This is a story. The melanin fellas, we are the product of plundering policy that you gotta love. Casinos, amigos on 40 acres. All our beds made in America. Living in terror or while they terrorize. Cover your eyes cause people terrified. Fuck all the promises you would promise cause the cut in your eyes until you paralyzed. And we built this motherfucker. We are the melanin fellas, we are the product of plundering policy that you gotta love. Casinos, amigos on 40 acres, they built this shit in our back, made in America. Living in terror or while they terrified. Cover your eyes cause people terrified. And fuck all the promises you were promised cause they cut your ass until you. Where we land is where we fall. One for one, with none for all. No stores, dead bodies on the boulevard. Cut, get us and they still in love. Where we land is where we fall. All of the big bodies are wide rock. Government giving ghettos and crack rock. Naked quarters are baking soda and man shot. Ain't no theory I saw it happen on my block. Only half the selling heroin for 9 to 5. Brothers burning down the block, the body almost died. Give it back, these are blankets for genocide. Call it cleaning up the truth, we call it hey. Where we land is where we fall. One for one, with none for all. No store, bodies on the boulevard. Cut, get us and they still in love. Where we land is where we fall. Made in America, made in America. Cause we made in America, we made in America. Cause we made in America, we made in America. Now we made in America. You know what the fuck we are. Roll call. Your business at us. Where we land is where we fall. One for one, when none for all. No store, bodies on the boulevard. Cut, get us and they still in love. Where we land is where we fall. Made in America, made in America. Made in America, made in America. To my people of color, your very existence is punk rock. To my gay, lesbian, bi, trans, queer people, your existence is punk rock. This song is celebrating your existence, your punk rock existence. You're not the only one that feels like the only one. You're not the only one feels like the only one. Do you really wanna know how I been waiting for that big reveal? Do you really want to know who I feel? Have you been waiting for that big reveal? You're the only one that feels like the only one. You're the only one feels like the only one.
Thanks. I'm tired. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I've been walking for miles every day. I've been yelling for hours every single day about what I know we believe and what I know we deserve. I thought I was tired from all the walking. I thought I was tired from all the screaming and shouting. But I was talking to my wife today, and I realized I've been tired for years. Ever since I realized what it meant to be black in America, to be told that by way of a construct, an idea that was created to keep people that look like myself and Stephen and my family and friends, a design that was built to keep us down. I realized that I've been tired for years. So I'm asking you, watching this, especially those in rock music, I'm asking you to show up for what I believe in my generation to be for the first fucking time. You want to take music that was black music, that still is black music. You want to benefit from black music. You want to enjoy black music, black culture, black art, black excellence, but you don't want to celebrate it? You don't want to show up when we dying in the streets? Then you are not supporting rock music. You are not supporting black people. You are exploiting black people. When you take and you take and you take, and you don't give back to that thing that you've taken from, by my estimation, that is plunder. So with that being said, every major record label, streaming services, managers, distribution, venues, that benefit off of our bodies, our struggle, this is your time. The world is watching. Show up for black people. Stop taking from black culture. Show up for black people. This song's called One of Us.
You are the minority, we are the majority. Fuck your lies and fuck your greed. We are the majority. Shout out to the underprivileged. Shout out to my family. Shout out to my family. Get the fuck out. What? No.
We're going to take this moment to be silent. Not like yesterday. Not like when you should have spoke up while people were out in the streets getting shot at and manhandled by those that are there to protect them. Those that have shown them nothing but chaos for generations. We will not be silent the way they thought we would be silent yesterday. We will be silent in the names of all of those beautiful black bodies that were slain needlessly and senselessly over the years. Be quiet and listen for a minute.
Say his name. Say his name. Say her name. Say their names. Say their names. Say their names. Rest in peace, George Floyd. I can't breathe. You
It ain't what you are. It ain't what you are. It ain't what you are. It's what you can't be. And I say you, motherfucker.
Much fun. I love it. I love it. We having a good time? USA. USA.
For those of you that are familiar with this project, you're aware that we try to create a space that is safe for everybody. No matter where you come from, no matter where you sit on the spectrum, we genuinely believe that we must open up a space safe enough for everyone to have the discussion. For years we've been fighting due to ideals, constructs known as race, and the fear of each other. Right now in America, there is a fire that is being stoked. Flames that are being fanned by people in power. The people are relinquishing their power, the very power that we possess simply by existing as a people, as a nation, as a constituency. We are giving up our power to someone and to people and to a system that does not care about us. Not the way it cares about itself. I don't care where you sit on this spectrum. If you're able to watch the atrocities that are happening every single day, much like our brother George Floyd being slain on the streets in front of a camera, and you don't think that there's a problem, then you are that fucking problem. Like I said, this is a safe space. We can have that conversation all day. But do not retreat when I tell you what the fuck it is you are. These are facts laid out on paper. These are policies written down, systems in place. You can find this out for your very self. This is not bias. I promise you, if you seek this out, you will find it. And it will be verified by our system, the one I mentioned earlier. What I ask of you today is to have the conversation. Don't be afraid to have the conversation. So afraid that you impose violence upon another person. I challenge you to have the conversation today. I'll have it with you.
Imagine being born in a hospital whose doors open up right into a cemetery. How's that for metaphor? Living behind the jet strip where women remove their clothes for tips. What was the alternative? How else they feed their kids? A tent for men that feel no love, from block to block, from blood to cuss. When my dad walked through the door, ain't remember who he was. I was 7, watching Ryan weed with me. All provided, but I can't take you nowhere yet. Got these cancel welfare check. Couldn't cross the Lennox line. They whoop my ass every time I tried. And big you wish with a light brown skin. I'm like, yo, I kept telling them, even if you don't believe me, when the cars come, disobey me. Lassie and the gun in hill. That's when my homeboy got killed. Everywhere they tried to show my mom. Damn, time I ever thought to grab a gun. Shit, but y'all was learning violence. See, I was learning violence. Y'all was learning violence. I was learning violence. I'll find you through twilight and blowing hills. When it's dark, I'll light you. A promise I will fulfill. Love is wasted, moments graces. Still my heart. When you're lost, I'll find you. On the south side of Inglewood, Centinela Hospital, where I was born to die. That is, of course, as long as it don't get you gentrified. And God waste no gas and trouble. My corpse will be like ghetto, kettle to catapult across the street to that same old cemetery. When you're lost, I'll find you. Twilight and golden hills. When it's dark, I'll light you. A promise I will fulfill. Nothing is wasted, moments graces. Still my heart. When you're lost, I'll find you. On the south side of Inglewood. On the south side of Inglewood. On the south side of Inglewood. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No. Why?
Thanks, y'all. Let me explain what's going on here. This is a live stream. It's our first one ever, and it's for a reason. Everything I stated earlier, I know these things are confronting. I understand that. I know that I seem impassioned at best when I speak of these things. But these things that I'm discussing, it's not mysticism. They didn't spring up by way of magic. These things are happening. And with the globalization of the internet and your phones and your computers, it would be negligent and pretty much a lie to say that you don't see it. We're just trying to open your minds to an experience that is actually, in ways that you may not understand yet, they're affecting you. They're affecting you. You may not look like the person that died on the street or the person that is subjugated or most of the people at the welfare offices or people that are disproportionately incarcerated in this country. You may not look like these people, but you are affected by these systems that subjugate these people. If we are in America, if we are the America that we say we are, where we all comprise the fabric of a country, then my plight is your plight. So when we say that Black Lives Matter, being pro-black is not being anti-white. When we say Black Lives Matter, we're saying that for generations, the creed, the color, the idea of blackness has been relegated and optimized. They have optimized our bodies, our minds, our culture, the use of them. They've optimized it to gain in finances. The biggest wealth building opportunities in this world were built upon the backs of slaves and immigrant bodies. Again, this is not bias. And for you to deny this, again, is negligent. For you to feel confronted, I will accept. But for you to walk away from the conversation, you fall into the category of being problematic. When I mentioned earlier, record labels, management, promotion companies, distributors, the music industry as a whole, because that's what we in. When I mention y'all, don't get touched. Today I found out that the other 3 officers have been arrested. And while we are thankful for the small victory, it is just that. It is a small victory when you look at the relative timeline of centuries of oppression. Please do not understate the problem by overstating this small moment in time. Do not eclipse the timeline that is tragic and painfully American. Do not eclipse it with this one moment. We will not accept justice in piecemeal. We will not accept treats like animals so that we stop asking for attention. When we say Black Lives Matter, we say we need your help in feeling like we are Americans too, and feeling like we are citizens of your nation. This goes beyond America. All over the world, darker skinned people have been subjugated and tragically mistreated for centuries. We're asking for help. We are not too proud. We are a proud people. We are a strong and beautiful people, but we are not too proud to say we need your help in understanding our plight and what it is we experience and why. Record labels, management, distribution companies, promotion companies. While we do appreciate the piecemeal right now because George Floyd was murdered on the streets in front of everybody in the world is watching and expecting a company or companies that have benefited off of the art, the intelligence, the excellence of black people for so long. You have benefited and you continue to benefit from black people in music. We top the charts. We make genres. We make this shit look cooler than anybody else could. Y'all don't want to show up for us until somebody gets murdered? Y'all don't want to show up till it looks good on y'all? You want to post a black square and say you give a fuck? While I appreciate the small victory and I appreciate the gesture, it is not enough. It is not enough. Those 3 men, Derek Chauvin, it is not enough to repair what has been done. And unfortunately, what we believe will continue to happen unless we don't ask for more. That is what it means to proudly scream, Black Lives Matter.
lies, what they're protecting you. We coming in, now we coming, we coming, now we coming, we coming, we coming in. We coming in, motherfucker. We motherfucker coming in, motherfucker coming in. We motherfucker, we motherfucker coming in, motherfucker coming in. We're gonna take you out, gonna take you out. The fuck's not gonna stop that. Come on, you come on, you come on, you coming in. Where are my people from? 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 Wow, we're coming in, motherfucker, coming in, motherfucker. We're motherfucker coming in. Coming in, motherfucker. We're we're gonna take you back, gonna take you back. The fuck's back and profit. Come on, come on,
If any of you wonder what a live show from us look like, it's kind of like that. It's a new song we released. The song's called Supremacy.
Born into a world where we're trying to be free, but we're living underneath their supremacy. See, I was raised in the West, where we stay stressed, where they lie if they have to make it a rest. So we living in the shadow of the suburb, while our price in his house going upward. I don't understand how the poor get it robbed by the rich, and they calling it a handout. And it's evident the neighborhood fucked up. Gotta send letters to the president. Tell me, can you hear us through the sound of the sirens? And you wonder why the streets getting violent. Another mother shed tears at the cemetery, burying a firstborn child. I've been watching through the years, got my
Minnesota Freedom Fund, and Black Lives Matter. You can click on the screen. We made it real easy to support today. Everyone asking, how do I help? I feel overwhelmed. I don't have the right information. This is what we believe to be the right information. This is what we've experienced and continue to experience unless more people decide to help, to believe,
Sir,
and to accept.
what are you here for? What do you want the world to know after today?
Just click a button and donate.
What is it you're here for? What is it you're here for? What should we know?
There's a motherfucking fever coming! Come on! Come on, motherfucker! What the hell is doing that? Look around! Let me see your mama crack! Look around! Where the fire go red! Look around! Everybody look around! Look around! If you your